Okay, for query 5 on page 36, it wants to know the amount of overtime pay for each employee for week 2. We will create query and design view again. We will need all 3 tables again, and I'm just double clicking them here. You can do that as well as click the add button. As before, let's go ahead and connect our tables together so it knows just how to go about looking at them. Now we know we want the last name. Again, I'll check the table first, employee, and then last name. That makes the field drop down box a little cleaner. I want employee ID. We don't have to have the first name in this one, but we do need employee ID, and I'm going to pull that from the employee number. From the employee table, because we are trying to look up. We're basing this query from the employee table. Alright, now we're going to go to the hours worked table and select the hours field, and here's where we have our first criteria. We need to know anyone who has more than 40 hours. Now our overtime pay is going to be a calculated field, and so we're going to give it a field name, OT pay. We're going to give it a colon. Now remember that we are showing only the overtime pay, not the total pay. So this is going to be multiplied by their wage rate times 1.5 because it's overtime pay, and only the hours they worked minus the first 40 hours. So we have 1.5, and then we multiply that by the wage rate. So whatever their normal wage rate is, we're going to give them time and a half, and then we're going to multiply that. And here we need parentheses as well, because we need to do subtraction before multiplication. And remember, in algebra, multiplication and division always become before addition and subtraction, and you always work from left to right. And we want this subtraction done before we multiply, so put the parentheses around it to modify the order of precedence for our mathematical operators. We choose hours, put it in brackets. So notice I have open parentheses, open bracket, hours, close bracket, minus 40, close parentheses. And then we need to know what week number, so we choose hours worked table. We choose week number, and we need to have only for week 2, so our criteria will have the number 2. We close, we tell it yes, we want to save. We'll save it as query 5. We will double click query 5, and it will give us the 2 employees that had more than 40 hours worked during week 2 and the amount of overtime pay they received. It does not include the pay they received for the first 40 hours of work that week. This is for Brady. This is $191.25 for 15 hours overtime, and Howard gets $157.50 for 10 hours of overtime.